Find out how to test drive retirement right now on Retiring Today. Hi, I'm Molly Nelson here with Loren Merkle. He's a certified financial planner and a certified financial fiduciary. Loren, a lot of people are familiar with test driving a vehicle, but test driving retirement might be a new concept.
It might be a little bit different to think about test driving retirement, but the concept is the same. The reason you test drive a car is because it's a big decision. It's probably expensive, and you're going to have that vehicle for a few years, just like buying a house. Any of the big purchases or big decisions that you make, you want to make sure that you understand what you're getting into and that you're really happy with it before you make that decision. Retirement is no different. You can test drive retirement. In fact, with the families and individuals that we work with, we do encourage them to test drive their retirement. And there's a lot of different ways they can do that to make sure that they're making the best decisions they can and they're really confident going into that decision.
Let's get right to test driving, not a vehicle. Again, we're test driving retirement. So we're going to break this down into a couple of sections. And the first thing we're talking about, Loren, is test driving your retirement lifestyle.
Test drive the lifestyle, because this is going to set the stage for all the other elements of your overall retirement plan. What do you want to do with your free time? You're going to have more free time than what you've ever had before, and you're probably going to be in the best financial position to enjoy that free time than what you've ever had before. So you want to make sure that you have a really good understanding of how you're going to fill your day. What are your new passions? What are your new purposes? Because that's going to determine how much that's going to cost you, and then that's going to determine where you're going to receive the income from, and then all of the other strategies that are going to coincide with your retirement plan. So not only is the lifestyle dream the fun part, dreaming about what you're going to do day to day, but then that sets the stage for all the others.
Loren, I was reading in preparation for this some tips about test driving in a car to see where the parallels were between driving a car and test driving retirement. And one of the tips was have a route in mind. When you want to test drive the car, maybe the route you drive all the time to see how the car handles or certain hills or things like that. So I'm thinking the parallel here is test drive that car on the Retire Secure roadmap. You see it? It's up on the screen right now. We're putting the car on the screen. Lifestyle is that first stop, not only in the plans that you help families and individuals build, but that's the first stop on test driving your retirement. And a great place to start is lifestyle. When people stop at this stop, do they have trouble envisioning what it'll look like? Because we're a little ways from retirement, you and I. Right. So right now I feel like I could name 25 things I would do, but I'm also in the throes of raising 4 kids and working on all those things. When it gets a little bit closer, is it harder to see that time without work?
For some people, it really is, because when you're 20 years away from retirement and you're dreaming about retirement through the eyes that you have at that point. So if you're 40 years old thinking about a time where you have a lot of extra time, you're not putting yourself in a 60-year-old frame of mind with all this time and the money. So once you actually get to that point where you're 57 years old, and retirement is 3 years away. Now you feel different, your mindset is a little bit different than what it was 20 to 25 years ago. And so now you have to re-envision what retirement looks for you at this season of your life. And for some people, that is really challenging, which also leads to the importance of really test driving your lifestyle. So you can test drive it and you can say, this activity in retirement doesn't work for me like I thought it might 20 years ago. Or you can say, I really enjoy golfing 3 days a week, so I'm going to do that for at least the first 5 to 6 years of retirement. Whatever those lifestyle activities are for you, it's nice to have a really solid idea of, does it work or does it not work? Also, if you're married, having extra time with your spouse. You're laughing.
Okay, thinking that through, yeah.
Okay, we hit on something there. Having extra time with your spouse is probably not something that you've had for the last 20 years. So now if your spouse is retired and you're retired, together you guys got to kind of maneuver through this new chapter of your life, and what does that look like? And so having a plan of attack, if you're married, with your partner, what does that look like? That is really important part of the test drive.
And I know it might feel a little even hokey to be talking about this, but we know that the happiest retirees have not only a financial plan, they have a social plan too. All of the studies point in that direction. And you're so serious, or we're so serious about it here at Merkle Retirement Planning. It is part of the first visit. You fill out a form. It's an online fillable form, and you are checking different boxes about how you want to spend your time. And then you print that out for for people and hand it back to them.
And there's many reasons why we ask people to do that. One is we really want to get to know you, not just your financial self, but also what do you like to do? What do you envision your retirement to look like? Because that helps our planners really identify every element of what that plan is going to need to help you enjoy that lifestyle. But also here at Merkle Retirement Planning, the social activities really are important. We've been doing this for a very long time. And what we noticed is as people age, their social circles do tend to shrink as people around them pass away. And so what we do is we create an environment where people in a like situation, like minds, can get together, enjoy activities that they really enjoy, and they can do that together and build their social network back up. So we have monthly events that, whether it's pickleball or
test drive pickleball. Just think of something you've been trying to do. We kind of help people. Hey, bring them in, go take them to Smash Park, rent out the courts for a while, and they could try pickleball.
Yeah, or chili cook-off. I mean, we really try to make this creative, whether it's a bus trip to Pella or Ames or a nature walk or whatever that is. There's a lot of activities that we like to present to people to explore different hobbies and different passions, but also to meet new people as well.
Okay, let's continue our test drive. Let's get back on that Retire Secure roadmap. So we stopped at lifestyle, talked about that a lot, but the next one is income, because that's big, Loren. People really, that's what they're worrying about, is how are they going to pay for retirement. So you tell families and individuals, or you work with them rather, on test driving their budget.
The income is one of the biggest concerns of most pre-retirees. How much can you afford to spend? How much does your lifestyle cost? And are you going to run out of money before your retirement ends? Those are all top concerns of most people. So one of the most effective ways you can test drive your income is to test drive your budget. If you think that your lifestyle, your retirement lifestyle, is going to cost you $6,000 a month in retirement, test drive that for 12 months prior to you retire. Live on that $6,000 a month. How does that feel? Chances are you're making more than that. So that's okay, but live on $6,000 if that's what you think your lifestyle is going to cost, because if $6,000 doesn't work when you're working, most likely $6,000 is not going to work when every day is a weekend when you retire, because when you're working, most of the time when you're not working is where you spend most of your money. And in retirement, that's not going to be any different. So what that does is it helps eliminate the surprise, but it also helps your income plan be more accurate, which is only going to lead to more confidence when you actually do tell your employer you're not coming back to work on Monday.
How does this play out then? So let's say an individual comes to you at age 57 and you start planning for retirement. Maybe they're going to retire at 62, 63. Do you have them test drive their budget in that first year, or is that something you do a little bit closer to that actual retirement date?
They can do a little bit of both. If they're not going to retire for a few years, they can certainly test it out there just to see the reality of it. But also things do change. So inflation changes, their mindsets might change, health conditions might change. So certainly as you approach retirement, get closer to that time frame, do another test drive if you already have, or if you haven't, that's a great time to start that test drive just to make sure that things are as you saw it a couple years ago.
And then when you test drive the budget and then they come up with a number, or you help them, obviously work together and come up with a number, is that where you start the retirement income plan or the entire plan, or what do you do with that number once you have it?
Yeah, what we do, and sometimes we have to work backwards. So if you have an idea of what your budget's going to be, fantastic. We'll build the income plan off of that, and we'll come up with a couple conclusions. One, that works, which is great. Or two, it doesn't quite work. Let's make some changes, whether it's to the budget or to the plan, and see how close we can get to that number. But if it does work, then that's when you can take that, if it works from a financial standpoint, that's where you could take it back to your test drive, and then you can really see if it works for you in your lifestyle. And sometimes after people go through that process, they'll say, that $6,000 a month doesn't work. Actually, it's too much. I only need $4,000 a month. Or most commonly, they're going to say, we underestimated what our lifestyle was going to cost. We need to plan for $8,000 a month. And I can tell you that does make a big change to most people's retirement plans and the probability of not running out of money before they run out of time. However, it's nice to know that before you retire, so we can make adjustments to the plan with less surprise, and you can have a realistic idea of where that money is going to come from and is it feasible within your plan.
We'll continue talking about how to test drive your retirement, but first we're going to answer a question that we received recently during our online Journey to Retirement workshop in a section we call Your Journey, Your Questions. Next. During our online Journey to Retirement workshop, we take questions from those who are watching, and sometimes we answer them right here on the show. Here's a question that we received recently. This question came in from Brett M. Brett wants to know, how far in advance of needing to collect Social Security do I need to apply for benefits, Loren?
Brett, the Social Security Administration allows you to apply for benefits 3 full months prior to when you want to receive those benefits. So I would encourage you to think about what you want to do from a Social Security standpoint, and then give the Social Security Administration as much of those 3 months as you can so they can process your application. It also allows for times if there's errors on those applications as well. For the families and individuals that we serve, we do file those benefits for them because it just makes it easy. You've probably not filed for Social Security before. We have done it hundreds of times, and the way you file often changes as well. I remember years and years ago, every time we wanted to file, we would call the Social Security Administration. But now we can just do it online, and that will probably change in the future to whatever the technology is at that particular point in time. But we stay up to terms with what that is, and it's easy for us to just file it.
It's like anything in life. When you've done it several times, it's easier to do it another time. When it's your first time, it can be a little bit confusing. So it's good that you help people do that. Let's talk about why Brett might have been asking this question, because you and I both know a little bit about that workshop. And there's a scenario in there, or a section in there, where John and Sue, the hypothetical couple that are the stars of the workshop, they're making that Social Security decision. And I'm going to go this far to say that you kind of help them test drive 3 different options.
We do, because there's so many options that people have when it comes to Social Security, and that often is a surprise that we hear after somebody attends the online Journey to Retirement workshop, because you have up to 81 different options when it comes time to elect. Now, with our hypothetical couple, John and Sue, we bake that down into 3 of their optimal decisions, and then we show you why they choose the decision that they choose. And I can tell you in the workshop, the decision that John and Sue have, the difference between the lifetime income for them is approximated at over $90,000 of difference between one decision versus another decision. And this is very similar with most people when it comes to making their Social Security. So in the spirit of test driving, you can do this with your Social Security as well. So let's say that you're going to receive $2,500 a month from your Social Security. You need $6,000 a month to live on. That means you need $3,500 a month from your investments. Does it work? Does it not work? Do you need to take less from your investments? Do you need to take more from your investments? Do you need to make a different Social Security decision? All of these things are things that you need to look at and can effectively test drive as you're test driving all of your retirement plans.
And I think it might surprise people that you really can quantify that. Of course, you have to use some assumptions about how long people will live and some other things like that of course you don't have a crystal ball to know, but really to show someone in real numbers what it could look like for them, that is so valuable when they're making that decision.
Yeah, it's way easier for them to make the decision when they actually get to see it. And the technology that we use is very simple. It's complex, but the visuals are so simple. When you get to see you're receiving X amount of dollars from Social Security, you need to take Y dollars out of your investments, and you're going to need a total amount of money to live the lifestyle that you want to. And here's how it is all going to work together today. But here's the implications it has on 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years down the road. And when you get to see that, the decisions that you have to make become much simpler.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you test drive a couple of vehicles and you really like one of them, the decision of which one to buy becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, and when you make that decision, you feel so much better around it. Oftentimes, buyer's remorse with big decisions does creep in, but a lot of that has a lot less impact when you have really well thought out plans and you know why you're making the decisions that you're making, and you know they're right for you in your circumstance.
Hear Loren talk about this, John and Sue, this Social Security decision that they make, the extra $90,000 that they put into their retirement income by making a Social Security decision. You've got to see it. You can see it during our Journey to Retirement workshop. So here's what you do. You can grab your phone right now if you'd like, text Journey to the number on your screen, and then we'll let you know when our next Journey to Retirement workshops are. You can sign up for one that works for you, and then Loren, get ready to soak in a lot of information.
A lot of information, but it's very useful information. In our hypothetical couple, John and Sue, they have some very detailed goals. Your goals might be substantially different, but the strategies that you put into place might resemble what John and Sue are using mean, certainly the application process of how they apply their decision making to their overall plan should apply to you as well. And there should be a lot of great information you could take out of that to help you build your plan.
It's a complimentary workshop. Once you get signed up, then you choose that time and date that works for you. Then you're signed up. Then you just can watch it from the comfort of your home, the comfort of your couch, and learn a lot of action steps that you can take to put yourself in a better position for retirement. We'll continue talking about test driving retirement and how to do it next. Welcome back to Retiring Today. I'm Molly Nelson here with Loren Merkle, and we're talking about test driving retirement. So, should we get back in the test driving vehicle?
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay, let's do that. Let's get on the Retire Secure roadmap. So what you're looking at, this is the visual representation of the plans that you help families and individuals put together for retirement. So we've stopped at lifestyle, we've stopped at income. Now we're at taxes. How do you test drive a retirement tax bill?
It sounds like a big feat of accomplishment to test drive your retirement tax bill. So what we need to do is first figure out what is your estimated retirement tax bill. And then are there strategies that we can put into place to decrease that retirement tax bill?
That's where the fun comes.
That's
right
where
there.
the fun, yeah. The first part of it isn't so much fun because it really does surprise people. And in our online journey retirement workshop with John and Sue, we estimate with their retirement tax bill, they have $1 million saved in their IRA that they've never paid taxes on before. Their estimated retirement tax bill over the course of a 25-year projected retirement, hold on, over $500. They have $1 million saved,
That's
over
a big tax bill.
$500,000, and we're able to knock off over $100,000 of that retirement tax bill. That's what we're talking about when we say test drive your tax bill. Figure out what the estimated tax bill is for you, and then what strategies can you implement to decrease that tax bill, because every dollar that you decrease is a dollar that you can put towards your spendable income to help increase your overall lifestyle. That is why test driving your tax bill is so important.
And this is probably new for people to look forward on taxes, right? So usually it's a year-to-year thing. You look at it each year, but looking forward and looking several years in advance is a new concept.
It is a new concept because a lot of people have paid taxes for so long, they feel like they just got to throw their hands up in the air and say, I'm going to pay taxes. There's not a whole lot that I can do about it. Where in fact, most people can implement strategies to decrease that tax bill, but you don't want to wait. You don't want to wait until you retire or just before you retire. You want to look at strategies right now. Every 12/31 that goes by, every December 31st that goes by, could be a missed opportunity when it comes to some of the most impactful retirement tax savings strategies. So start now, look at the strategies, because the sooner you get started, the more tax savings you might have.
And Loren and the retirement planners really go in depth on how John and Sue saved that $100,000 in their tax bill in the Journey to Retirement workshop. You can sign up for that by texting Journey to the number that's been in the lower corner of your screen throughout the show. So let's keep test driving. We're back. What are we test driving, Loren, by the way? What's our car?
What do you want to drive?
I always need something fun, something fancy, something fast.
Maserati?
There we go. We're in a Maserati. We're heading to the next stop on test driving retirement, and we're test driving investments.
Investments. And where we start with test driving investments is how much investment risk are you taking today? How much investment risk are you taking? Which means when this stock market goes through another really poor cycle, and we know on average, we go through corrections in markets every year. On average, we go through bear markets every couple of years and recessions every 5 to 6 years. So we know over the course of your retirement, you're going to see 4, 5, 6 recessions, hopefully, if you live 20 to 25 years in retirement. So that is going to happen. Now, how is your portfolio going to react? And then how is that going to interrupt, if it will, your retirement income? Because your income is going to come from your investments in your Social Security and your pension if you're lucky. So how does it disrupt your income, if it will? Because what retirees find is that the investment strategies they used to get them to retirement are not the same investment strategies that they should use to get them through retirement. So we have to first start with the risk. How much risk are you taking? Is it a good amount of risk? Is it too much? Is it not enough? And then we can look at what a different type of portfolio allocation could look like in retirement with your brand new goals, which is to take money out instead of putting money in.
Next stop on our test drive route, healthcare.
Healthcare is so expensive. There's a recent study that came out that said not long-term care, just healthcare expenses, and about 43% of this was premiums, Medicare Part A or Medicare Part B and D premiums. 43% of over $115,000 over the course of your retirement for those healthcare costs. And then you throw long-term care on top of that, and the most recent study said $320,000 over the course of your lifetime. That's a lot of money. So the test drive means what are the appropriate healthcare plans for you based on your health status and everything that we know about your potential longevity, and how are we going to pay for that over the course of your retirement, not only right now, but also 5 to 10 years down the road as healthcare legislation and your health status continue to change.
So test driving, not only being aware of what's coming, maybe having a plan to pay for those out-of-pocket healthcare costs. You mentioned that $125,000 for someone 65 and over. That's a Fidelity study. The latest numbers, yeah.
See, I quote the study, you quote the source.
Hey, we're a team here.
Teamwork.
Should we test drive for just a little bit longer here? Let's make one more stop on our Retire Secure roadmap, and that is test drive legacy.
Yeah, think about, and this is hard for a lot of people to think about because not a lot of us like to think about what happens after us, but it's going to happen to all of us. So think about, where do you want your assets to go? Where do you want your belongings to go when you have your last day? And then think about the documents that you have in place. Do those documents get it done? Is the right language in those documents to get done what you're trying to get done after you're gone? And how is everything going to work when you're no longer here and you no longer have a say? And that's what those documents are really for. Your last will. Do you want a trust? Do you need a trust? What is the difference? How do those work? The powers of attorney, all of those different kind of documents should be looked at and discussed. Are they going to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish? Do you need them or do you not?
Lauren, as you're talking about this stuff, I'm realizing it's not the kind of thing you want to test drive that is a day or a month or even a year before you retire. In order to implement some of those long-term tax plans you're talking about, you're looking at maybe even 5 to 10 years before retirement when you need to start working on some of this to really maximize what you've saved.
Yeah, sometimes people will ask us, when should I get started with the plan? And we say within 10 years of retirement. And if you're 10 years out, you might as well get started now, because a lot of people can control when they retire, but a lot of people can't. Whether it's due to health status or their employer just says goodbye. There's a lot of reasons people retire prior to when they anticipated. So if you have that plan in place and you retire on time or you retire early, you're much more ready if you've already test drove your retirement and you have a good understanding of how each one of those pillars are going to work within your overall plan.
Is it time for you to test drive retirement? Are you 57 or older and dreaming of what retirement will be like? There's a lot of decisions that you've never had to make before. The best way to see those decisions, see how one couple makes a lot of these decisions, is our online Journey to Retirement workshop. You can sign up now by texting Journey to the number on your screen. This is Retiring Today, and we thank you for watching.